You don't have a money problem. What you have is a frequency problem. And I know, you just rolled your eyes so hard you probably saw the back of your skull. Frequency problem? Lady, I have a very real, very loud, very much screaming at me from my bank account kind of money problem. And I hear you, darling. I genuinely do. But stay with me, because by the time we're done here today, you're going to look at your wallet, or the tragic absence of what should be in it, and you're going to understand something so profound, so deliciously simple, that you'll wonder why nobody sat you down and told you this years ago. Now let me ask you something personal. And don't worry, I'm not going to ask you how much debt you're in, because frankly, that's between you and the universe. And the universe already knows, and is not judging you nearly as harshly as you're judging yourself. But I want to ask you this. When money does come in, what's the very first thing you feel? Is it joy? Is it relief? Or is it something quieter, something sneakier, something that sounds a little like, this won't last, or I don't deserve this, or great, now what bill is going to eat this alive? Because if that last one sounded familiar, my friend, we have found the frequency block. And the Arcturians, bless their extraordinarily evolved, interdimensional hearts, they have been trying to show us this for longer than we've been paying attention. Now, before you click away thinking this has gone off the rails into outer space, and technically it has, because the Arcturians are from the star system Arcturus, which is about 37 light years away, and they are apparently very invested in your financial wellness, which is honestly very sweet of them. Let me ground this in something you can feel in your bones right now. Because this is not really about star beings, this is about you. This is about the mirror you walk past every single day without looking at. This is about the truth that money is not just currency. Money is a reflection. Money is a frequency. And your relationship with it tells you everything you need to know about the story you're telling yourself in the dark. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine two people, same city, same economy, same job title, even. One of them seems to attract money, like a magnet. Opportunities show up. People hand them checks. Things just work out. The other one, and look, we've all been this person at some point, so no shame here. The other one hustles twice as hard, prays 3 times as often, and still finds themselves explaining to their landlord why the rent is going to be just a little late this month. Same world, wildly different results, and the difference is not luck. It is not favoritism from the universe. It is not that one of them has a better spreadsheet. The difference is frequency. The difference is the invisible signal they are sending out into the field of all possibility, and what that field is sending back in return. See, money is a mirror. And here is what makes that both the most liberating and the most uncomfortable truth you will hear today. A mirror doesn't lie. A mirror shows you exactly what is standing in front of it. And if what is standing in front of it is a person who believes, deep in the marrow of their bones, that they are not worthy of abundance, that rich people are somehow morally suspicious, that wanting more is greedy, that money is hard to come by and easy to lose, well, darling, that mirror is going to reflect that back to you with absolutely stunning precision. It is not punishing you. It is showing you. It is saying, lovingly but firmly, this is the story you are telling. Would you like to tell a different one? And this is where the Arcturians come in, because they understand something about frequency that most of us on this beautiful, chaotic, wonderfully messy planet have only begun to scratch the surface of. They understand that everything, and I mean everything, every thought, every emotion, every deeply held belief you've been carrying since your mother told you money doesn't grow on trees, everything is vibration, everything is frequency. And you, my extraordinarily capable friend, are a broadcasting tower. You are constantly, ceaselessly, without taking a single day off, transmitting a signal. And the universe, like the most sophisticated radio receiver ever conceived, is picking up exactly what you're putting out and sending it right back. Now here is where it gets both fascinating and slightly inconvenient, because most of us think our frequency is determined by what we say. We think it's the affirmations we repeat in the mirror every morning. I am wealthy. I am abundant. Money flows to me easily. Said while simultaneously panicking internally about whether the electricity will get cut off. And here's the glorious, slightly exasperating truth. The universe is not listening to your words. The universe is listening to your feelings. It's listening to the vibration underneath the words. And if you're saying, I am abundant, while feeling I am terrified, guess which frequency is louder? The terror wins every time, not because the universe is cruel, but because feelings are louder than thoughts. Emotions are the language the cosmos actually speaks. So let's talk about what this frequency block actually looks like in practice, because I don't want this to stay theoretical. I want you to see yourself in this. The frequency block around money shows up in the most ordinary, mundane, everyday moments. And we miss it because we're too busy blaming the economy, blaming our boss, blaming the fact that we grew up in a family where money was always a source of tension and whispered arguments, and the kind of stress that you absorbed into your little nervous system before you even had the words to describe it. The frequency block sounds like, I can't afford that. Not as a factual statement, but as an identity, said with a kind of resigned familiarity, the way you'd say, I'm just not a morning person, as though it is simply who you are, a law of nature, unchangeable, inevitable. The frequency block looks like feeling guilty when you spend money on yourself, like holding your breath when you check your bank account, like feeling a low-grade anxiety that lives in your chest and never quite goes away, a kind of financial PTSD that hums along underneath everything else in your life. And here's the kicker, and I say this with tremendous compassion and also a very necessary dollop of honesty, that frequency is not attracting solutions, that frequency is attracting more of the same problem, because fear attracts the object of fear. Scarcity thinking attracts scarcity. It is not a punishment, it is physics. It is the law of resonance doing exactly what it is designed to do, matching like with like, reflecting back what is broadcast outward. Your financial reality is not a verdict on your worth, it is feedback on your frequency. Now, the Arcturians, these wonderfully patient, cosmically enlightened beings, who apparently have nothing better to do than observe humanity's complicated relationship with paper and coins, they would tell you that the block is almost never about money itself. The block is almost always about worthiness. And isn't that delicious and terrible all at once? Because worthiness is the deepest wound, isn't it? The one we don't like to talk about. The one we paper over with busyness and hustle and I'll rest when I'm successful. The quiet, persistent, underground belief that we have to earn our right to exist comfortably, that abundance must be deserved through suffering first, that if things come too easily, something must be wrong, that we should be suspicious of good fortune because surely it will be taken away. And where did we get these beliefs? Oh, darling, pull up a chair, because this is where it gets generational. Most of us inherited our money frequency the way we inherited our eye color, without being consulted, without consent, simply by growing up in a particular family, in a particular culture, hearing particular things said about money, with a particular emotional charge behind them. Money is the root of all evil. Rich people are greedy. We're not those kinds of people. You have to work hard for everything you get. Don't get too big for your boots. And these phrases, heard enough times in childhood, get wired into the subconscious mind as absolute truth. They become the operating system running quietly beneath every financial decision you make as an adult. And here's what's maddening about an operating system: it runs, whether you're paying attention to it or not. You can consciously want more money. You can read every finance book ever written. You can create a budget that would make a bank manager weep with joy. And still, if the operating system underneath is running a program that says, people like me don't have real money, or abundance is for other people, or I always end up back at zero, that program will find a way to execute itself. You'll get the raise and then have an unexpected expense that wipes it out. You'll build savings and then something will break. You'll make progress and then somehow, mysteriously, inexplicably, you'll find yourself right back where you started, wondering what on earth keeps happening. What keeps happening is the mirror. The mirror is showing you the program, and the program needs to be updated. Now here is where we shift from diagnosis to solution, because I absolutely refuse to leave you sitting in the discomfort of awareness without handing you something actionable. Because awareness without action is just sophisticated suffering, and you deserve better than that. So let me give you a framework. A simple, elegant, genuinely life-altering framework that you can begin applying today, right now, before you even finish this video. It starts with what I call the 3 frequencies of money. The frequency of receiving, the frequency of worthiness, and the frequency of flow. And you need all 3 to be clear for the money mirror to reflect back abundance rather than lack. Let's start with the frequency of receiving, because this one surprises people. Most of us have been so focused on earning, on working, on producing, on grinding, that we have completely neglected the other side of the equation, which is receiving. And I don't just mean receiving money. I mean receiving compliments without deflecting. I mean receiving help without immediately feeling guilty. I mean receiving kindness without immediately wondering what the other person wants. I mean saying, "Thank you," when someone says you look wonderful today, instead of launching into a 10-minute explanation of how you actually haven't slept properly and you found this jacket at a charity shop and you really need a haircut. Practice receiving the small things. A compliment, a favor, an unexpected gift. Practice saying, "Thank you, I receive that," and meaning it. Because if you cannot receive small things, you are sending a very clear signal to the universe that you are not open to receiving large things. The channel has to be open, the door has to be unlocked. And for many of us, we have been unconsciously bolting that door for years, while simultaneously complaining that nothing is arriving. Now, the frequency of worthiness is the deepest work. And I want you to breathe here, because this is where most people hit the wall. Worthiness is not something you earn. I need you to hear that again, because it is going against everything your conditioning has told you. Worthiness is not something you earn. You were born worthy. You arrived on this planet in a state of absolute, complete, non-negotiable worthiness. And somewhere along the way, people with their own wounds and their own frequency blocks taught you that your worth was conditional, that it depended on your productivity, your appearance, your achievements, your ability to not need too much, or ask for too much, or want too much. And you believed them because you were small and they were everything to you, and that's not a character flaw, that is just the human experience. But now, you are grown, and you get to decide what you believe about yourself. And I am inviting you today, right now, to decide that you are worthy of abundance, not because of anything you have done, or produced, or proved, but simply because you exist, because you are here, because you are a living, breathing, magnificent expression of life itself, and life is inherently abundant. Look at nature. Nature does not do scarcity. A single apple tree doesn't produce one cautious apple per year. It produces hundreds, because abundance is the natural state of existence. Scarcity is the story we layered on top of it. And then there is the frequency of flow. And this is where the practical meets the mystical in the most satisfying way. Flow means you understand that money is energy, and energy must move. It cannot stagnate. It cannot be hoarded in fear without losing its vitality. This doesn't mean you shouldn't save. Saving from a place of wisdom is entirely different from hoarding from a place of fear. Saving says, "I am stewarding this abundance thoughtfully." Hoarding says, "I am terrified this is all there is, and more will never come." The first frequency attracts more. The second frequency repels it. So you practice flow by giving freely, even when it feels counterintuitive. You tip generously when you can. You donate something, even if it's small. You lend a hand, share a resource, pass along an opportunity. Not because you're trying to trick the universe into rewarding you. That kind of transactional spirituality tends not to work very well, but because you're affirming your belief that more is coming. You're behaving as someone who lives in an abundant universe. And when you behave as that person, you start to become that person. And when you become that person, your frequency shifts. And when your frequency shifts, the mirror shifts. And when the mirror shifts, your bank account eventually, sometimes dramatically, shifts with it. Now I want to talk about something that nobody in the personal finance or self-help space wants to talk about, because it's slightly inconvenient and doesn't fit neatly on a motivational poster. And that is this: shifting your frequency around money takes time, and it takes patience, and it takes a willingness to look at yourself honestly without collapsing into shame. because you're going to catch yourself mid-thought in a scarcity spiral. You're going to find yourself calculating whether you can afford a $10 lunch and feeling that familiar tightening in your chest. You're going to have moments where the old programming runs so loudly that the new beliefs feel laughably small and unconvincing by comparison. And in those moments, I want you to remember something the Arcturians understand about frequency that we often forget. A frequency doesn't have to be perfect to be effective. It just has to be consistent. You don't have to feel abundant 100% of the time. You just have to shift in the direction of abundance more often than you shift away from it. Progress is not perfection. Progress is a slightly higher frequency today than you had yesterday, and a slightly higher frequency tomorrow than you have today. Think of it like tuning a radio. If you're currently tuned to a station that's playing nothing but static and anxious talk radio about all the bills you owe, you don't fix it by suddenly, magically, overnight tuning to a crystal clear symphony orchestra. You fix it by